All right, everyone. So sitting here right now, Tuesday morning, it's coming up to about 12 p.m. and we had some big action this morning. We had a stock that went up over 250%. That one was my biggest winner. So that's going to be the stock that we're breaking down in the most detail. But during this recap, I'm going to go over all of my trades from today. So where do I sit? Is this going to be a full-length class or is it going to be a standard recap? Sorry to say, but I let you down today. I let myself down. I am not double the daily goal. I'm green and I can't complain too much because I'm sitting at $8,309.84, but not double the daily goal. So today's going to be a standard recap. We're going to go over the stocks I traded and we're going to focus first on INNN, which was our leading percentage gainer today in the entire market. And this is the one that gave me my first trade of the day and the most profit out of any of the stocks I traded. I do feel like today I stuck it out. I've been here, I've been here since 6:45. It's about noontime now. Not that that's really a long working day, but nonetheless, I stuck it out because I was hoping that we would see something really start to pull away and I could get myself up over double the daily goal. And then I said, look, you're trading your P&L right now. Let's get real. You had a good morning. Things are slowing down. It is what it is. If you force it, you're going to take a big loss. So don't get too, caught up in that. And I think that's a good recommendation in general. Just, when you start trading your P&L, you're thinking, oh, I'd feel a lot better if I was up 8,500 today. I just need to make another, $191 or whatever. That's not a good way to trade. So focus on the charts, let the profits come to you. And today I did a good job pre-market and then things kind of died out shortly after the open. My last trade today was at like maybe 10:45. So I haven't taken a trade in an hour and that was sort of my cue to walk away. So, all right, let's start with the first trade of the day, INNN. Or INNN, yeah. So this one of the things I like to do is I like to check my scanners sort of throughout the day. So once I finish, I walk away for the day. I still kind of keep an eye on the scans on my phone. So I have my top gap scan right here. And then after hours, I go down to the after hours top gainers. So I was checking the after hours top gainers yesterday and I saw INNN was up 108%. So already I was like, okay, this is going to be one that we'll be paying attention to, Tuesday morning. So one thing that I'll say first of all is that I'm a little 50-50 on trading continuation from a move that starts after hours. Usually I find that when the move begins after hours like this, by the time we're at pre-market, other traders have already gotten the jump on it. They already have themselves with good entries, and a lot of them are going to be taking profit into the next day. So I don't usually find that I really have a super solid trade on continuation setups from a move that starts in the previous trading session after hours. So nonetheless, that was kind of my initial bias. Was looking at the point of control on this and saw from after hours it was low around 220 and we were well above that, well above volume weight average price. But then coming into pre-market this morning, we dipped down a little bit. Now, as I looked at the scans at about 6:30, I saw, okay, yeah, INNN, it's got a lot of volume. It's below its after hours high. No surprise there. Range between 2 and 3. And I was sort of like, I don't know. So I made my way over, but I wasn't really in super much of a hurry. So I end up sitting down right at like, I guess it was just a little before 7, and I get my charts all loaded up. And right here, right at the top of the hour at 7 a.m., that's 6:50, that's 6:55, and then boom, there's 7 a.m. Look at all that volume. This volume all came in right at 7 a.m. right here. Why? Because 7 a.m. is when a lot of brokers come online, like Ameritrade or Thinkorswim and these other brokers. So Charles Schwab, whatever. So right here, we ended up getting a really nice trade. And I did participate in this move, but I got in a little high. My first entry was 311. So I got in at 311 with a stop at 3. It pops up to 320. And let me get you dialed in here on the 10-second chart just to... it's fine. We could just switch on this time frame. It's fine. So I jump in here at 311 and That was this micro pullback right here. So right there, 311. So I will put a link in the description for this video and pin at the top of the comments for my micro pullback strategy as a PDF. This is one of my favorite strategies to trade. So micro pullback right there, pops up to 20, pulls back. I got another micro pullback right here at about 325, something like that. It goes up to 330, goes up to 340, another micro pullback right here. So it's pushing higher on the 1 minute. These 1 minute candles are just green, but the 10-second was giving me the pullbacks. So then we dip back down here, and in this area, I'm just actively trading it. I'm buying at 330. I'm selling at 344. I'm adding back at 329. I'm out at 330, doing little dips, in at 39, out at 44, and just actively trading this range right here. So in this little window, I got myself up about $1,000 on the day. So I broke the ice. I got myself into the green, but I sort of felt like it was trading pretty thickly. I was like, I don't know, this is kind of a little tricky, and I wasn't totally loving that price action that we were seeing, and it ends up dropping down here at about 705, then coming back up here to 340. So I traded through this move, but I didn't find that it was really as clean as I was hoping for. What then ends up happening is, as we got closer to the open, it comes back up here at 730 and squeezes through 340. So that gave me a nice trade on the move up to 360. It then pulls back, and then right here at 8 a.m., it drops down and then rallies back up. And this move was kind of wild. So anyways, we finally squeeze up here to 4. We micro pull back, then pop up to 420, up to 430, up, and then these topping tail candles, we just were not able to hold at those levels. And this is actually something I noticed on a couple of the stocks today. But look at all these topping tails right up here. That is communicating that the stock is popping up, but it is not holding those levels. It's not closing above that sort of 415 level. So just chop, 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 and then it rolled over, drops down, and then that was kind of it. It was over. So $3,970.16 on INNN. That's pretty good. I can't really complain. I did not go into the red today. Started in the green, added more profit, and started to build my cushion. And in the middle of that, I took some trades on a couple other stocks. So CNSP, you could see that I'm up $297 on. Wow, this is unreal. Oh my gosh. I'm taken aback looking at this chart. This is truly unbelievable. Look at this selling. So I was trading it in this area, and then I just haven't looked at it for the rest of the day. So I traded it right in here. I got in at 142, 143, and then I took profit at it was like 150 something. So 155 is like right in here. And anyways, it broke down, and I was like, all right, well, whatever, that's fine. Off to the next one. But that's why you do not hold in hope. I wonder if there was some kind of news that came out on this. I don't see the headline, but boy, dropping that far is really terrible. Yikes. So that is an unattractive chart. Well, that's the way it goes. It's important just to cut your losses and move on. This thing is getting smoked. So that was CNSP. Ended up with a small winner on it, I guess, or $297. It's fine. And then was back to trading INNN and trading a couple other stocks. So then we get TWOU. So TWOU, this one, you could see just a small profit on this. This was looking for a break of yesterday's levels. We had a nice move yesterday. And on this one, we had gap fill up to 398. So this was the gap right here, 398. And this was kind of the level that I was looking for and seeing if we would tap. And honestly, it was very thickly traded. Really not easy at all. So this one, got a couple trades on it, but this chart was choppy. And when I saw this drop right here, I was like, all right, this thing is going to be really, really rough. We get another one right there and an even bigger one right here. So once a stock shows it's doing these kind of false breakouts, you just can't trust it anymore. I mean, that's just the way it is. And so this one became untrustworthy very quickly. Then we had PCSA hit the scans. Now, PCSA is very interesting. I'm up 2,500, as you can see on this. And this was a little disappointing because I was up about 4,200 and then I overstayed my welcome. So what happened on this one was initially it sort of is sideways, and then at 8:25 it starts to pull away. What was weird about this was the news was at 8 a.m. So I was like, why did it take this long for it to start to pull away? But anyways, it starts to pull away. And so we got a micro pullback here at about 220, another micro at about 230, another one at about 255, and it pushes up to 270, 280, 290. It dips down, it pops up to 3, and then it flushes right here and it sells off. So then we push forward here, and look at this. It comes back up to 290. It comes back up to 3, and I got in, where was it? Oh, it was right here for the break of 3. I get in here with 10,000 shares at 290, and it drops to 250. I stopped out. I took the loss on it, and on that trade, I gave back a good chunk, and I was a little annoyed. But then look at this. It rallies right back up. So I ended up getting back in at about 70, 75, 85 right in here, and then adding for the break over 3 and taking some profit right up here. And that recouped some of what I'd lost here. And then at the open, I was trying to, I kept looking for this trade for the breakthrough 310. And I tried it here and I lost on it. I tried it here and I lost on it. I tried it here and I lost on it. And then finally I was like, you know what? I feel like I've tried this one like 15 times. And all I'm doing is adding commissions and getting myself frustrated. So that's when I said, you know what? I think I'm over it. I think I'm done. So I gave up on this one, and I peaked at about 9,000 today. That was my peak. And that was probably right after this green trade and before I took these losses in here. So I ended up taking these losses. I dropped back to about 7,000 on the day. And we had this trade on serve, which I ended up losing on, SERV. So this one, let's see, if we look at this, this was really, really tricky. So I actually got in, right here because I thought we were going to break through VWAP, and I lost 600 on it right there. And I didn't get back in. After that drop, I was like, I can't trust it. It then rips up, dumps, rips up, dumps, rips up, and does it again. So I was like, you know what? This thing is really not tradable. It was on my watch list from Sunday, but I didn't trade it yesterday because I sort of thought it just didn't feel like it was obvious enough. But then today it was moving higher. So I was like, well, maybe I'll try it, but just took a quick loss on that. So I was like, all right, that's enough of that. I'm not going to give back last week's profit over trading it. So left that one alone. And then since I gave back about half of my profit on PCSA plus a little bit of a loss here, what finally gave me that sort of last little win was Lumen, LUMN, which is very unusual. I wouldn't normally trade a stock with this kind of float. However, if we look at this thing just was squeezing higher and higher and higher and higher, and it kept going higher. So I jumped in just riding the top of the move when we started to get peak volume, because this is the area where you can get halts and you can start to jump up, 50 cents, $1 a share, or maybe more. So I took a little scalp on this up in this area here, but I knew the first candle to go red was going to result in a bigger pullback, and it would probably be better to the short side, but I'm not able to short in my retirement account. So of course I didn't. Anyways, very, very impressive move. First 5-minute candle going red though, reversed back down. And so ended up pulling back. So here, let me finish up what I'm doing and I'll chit chat. So this was Lumen, LUMN, Lumen Technologies. And that was, and then I had one trade on Lucy, LUCY. This one did have a headline. It's a somewhat recent reverse split, popped up here from 480 up to 520. Did a small position on that, $263. So kind of a small win there, nothing super exciting. And then at that point, kind of after Lumen and after Lucy, I was like, I think I'm kind of pushing it here. I just, I don't know. Is it really worth it? And if we go back to INNN, we kind of go back to the top here. This one, the strongest part of the move was really yesterday, and then this nice push at about 6:45 and then 7 a.m., whatever. And then after that, that was the peak. So definitely you could say that was the line between the front side of the move and the back side. Now this area might have been backside. It's sort of hard to tell, but once you make a new high, we're sort of back on the front of the move. But once we're stepping down and we're not making new highs, that's when we get this slower kind of unwind, and then things just sort of fall apart. So that's what ended up happening on INNN. We had this, and you can see this point of control line. If you watched the episode yesterday, it's sort of right at the spot. It was above VWAP for a little bit. Right now it's below VWAP. So unfortunately, this one is just, it's not holding up. And I don't think we're going to see any more action on this one today. So even though it was up over 250%, I think the cleanest trades on it are behind us. And then PCSA, this one similarly, really nice big percentage gain. I mean, it goes from 180 up to 250 up to 3, but then it sells off all the way back down. Then it bounces all the way back up and then comes back down again. So that's stressful. We don't like to see that. And then the big MACD crossover here, the volume profile showing us the point of control right around 248. Just, again, not able to hold up. I really did get frustrated on this because I was like, wow, it is just like unrelenting selling pressure up here. They're just selling and selling and selling and selling. And then we opened and we dumped down. We get a little bounce back up and then back down, back down. So there were a lot of people selling shares on this one today. If we think about the last couple weeks, certainly last week we had incredible moves on Tuesday and Wednesday. That's when we were seeing these 600% moves. And I had those two really big days on Tuesday and Wednesday. Last Monday was similar to this Monday, I guess. Well, yesterday I think I was at 12. But anyway, so, Monday to this week was fine. But today's a little slower, for me, sitting at 83.09. So a little bit of a slower day. Monday, Tuesday, good start to the week so far, but how's the rest of the week going to unfold? I feel like what we sort of need is something that has really good news, because that's going to override the sort of, these unrelenting sellers that we have at some of these levels. We just need something with some solid news. And, it's hard for us as active traders, technical traders, to really understand how good is this news, right? I mean, is it going up because we interpret this to be good news, or is it going up? It's just not always totally clear, but I'm hopeful that we do end up seeing some nice action as we, continue on into the week. So, look, 2 nice days over the daily goal, Monday, Tuesday. That's a good start. ISPO, this is another one that I noticed sort of stair-stepping up here, but those topping tails, higher volume selling, a little bit of a red flag there. I noticed this one yesterday, puts in this big move, continues after hours, and then that same kind of thing, pre-market, continuation, but the percentage changed today. I mean, it's not nothing. It's up ISPO 45% right now. So, you've got a 5-cent, 4-cent spread on it, 17 million shares of volume, but this is this time of day where if it's not squeezing higher, there's really no reason to trade it. And so traders start to just kind of sit on the sidelines. And then what ends up happening is people sitting on the sidelines fall asleep and they're like, there's nothing else happening today. I'm giving up. I'm done. That's a day for me. And, by the time we get to 2-3 o'clock, there's probably, I don't know, a quarter the number of traders there were during the opening couple hours. And people are sort of running out of steam. They're giving up. So, could we get power hour? We certainly could. But usually when we get big moves during power hour, It's because we've had a cycle of power hour moves for some of the previous sessions. Usually the first power hour move catches a lot of people by surprise. They're like, whoa, where'd that come from? This thing just went crazy. And then people are like, I better stick around for power hour tomorrow. So then you have it for a couple days. So what you might have today, I suppose, is some traders will probably stick around to watch 4 p.m. closing bell to see, is there going to be another INNN? Is there going to be another stock that pops up after hours that I could jump into for a swing trade into tomorrow? Now, the problem with that is when you have a lot of people that are buying after hours, they cannot sell between 6 a.m. and between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. So they're stuck in the position. And then right at 7 a.m., if it's selling off, you're going to have people that just are dumping. They're just getting out. So you have sort of, it's like bag holders a little bit because they weren't able to exit positions during this pre-market session. However, if it's holding up well, you can still get profit taking, but you can also get people that are adding to the position, and there's a little more FOMO in the market. So I don't know, who knows? Maybe we will see some nice after hours price action today, but I'm not going to stick around for that. And honestly, that's not the time of day that I would typically make money. And I'm not the type of person that swings from previous day after hours into pre-market. I just don't like doing that. I did, by the way, see QXO. This one sold off like crazy. But this was unbelievable. It hit like $160 a share last week on super light volume, and then just totally sells off after hours. Some traders were watching it for a bounce off the low, but the risk on that to me felt awfully high. NIPG. This is another one. Interesting today. Price action sells off 1 halt, 2 halts, 3 halts, then halts back up, pushes a little higher back to 14, right to the volume weight average price, and then comes back down. Somewhat recent IPO, but I just don't feel like this is the sweet spot for me either. And, the float on QXO is very nice. The float on NIPG is 56 million shares, so that one's a bit higher. I don't know. I think today's a day where I felt like some of our leaders from pre-market have just rolled over. We talk about the change from the close, but when we're thinking about, what the change is from the open, a lot of these have declined since the open. So what's actually up since the open? ISPO. All right. This one's hanging in there, but do you really want to trade at this time of day? It's clearly choppy. It's kind of a head and shoulders pattern right now. So I don't know. This is probably going to drop down. So I'm going to give this guy a sad face here because he's disappointed that this price isn't moving higher. And by moving higher, I mean like through the highs and 950 and higher. It is holding volume weight average price, so you've got something going for you there. AIU, 29 million share float. These all feel like a bit of a reach. CACL, I saw some traders asking about this. I pulled it up on the level 2, and I noticed easy to borrow. So E for easy to borrow. If it's easy to borrow, that means it's easy to short. You don't have to pay any borrow fees. It's also not on short sale restriction. So as soon as it pops up, people can just be hitting the bid. And usually those types of stocks are a little bit slower when they first start moving. Now, Lumen, LUMN, was also easy to borrow and with a large float. But this was kind of playing off of a little bit of a short squeeze, that there were some people that must have been short that were getting pushed out because it was going up so much. So that's a little bit of an exception to my rule. This is unusual that I would take this trade. Probably, to be honest, if I had had a better day, I probably wouldn't have even messed with these like scraps. These are kind of the bottom feeder type of setups. They can give you a little something, but is it really worth it? Well, in a cold market, maybe it is. On a day when there's not much moving, maybe you go for them. But on the other hand, they can also give you unnecessary losses when you lower your quality standard. And sometimes you'll find yourself pretty disappointed that you did it. So it's usually better to stick with, the A quality setups, which today was INNN, PCSA, TWOU was only so-so. CNSP, I don't think that was an A quality setup. Lucy was not A quality, and neither was Serve. So we really only had maybe two good setups today. And look, if I had only traded those, I would have made a little bit less money. So we're in a market that's hot enough where you could trade some B and C quality setups, and maybe you'll do okay if you've got the experience and educated intuition to keep you on the right side of the trade. But, you know, it's also worth being aware of the fact that that can teach you some bad habits, and those can catch up to you. So as we sit right now, tomorrow is our last day of July, last day of the month. So, you know, my monthly goal, I haven't imported yesterday's trades yet. My monthly goal was 100,000, and I blew that out of the water. I'm well over 200 right now in gross profit. So, you know, we'll see where I finish the month. At this point, I'm already setting my sights on August, and my goal for the month of August is to start by building a cushion. And I'm going to do that with consistency. So focusing on some nice trades on Thursday and Friday, get the month off to hopefully a good start. And then if I can have a good start on Monday, on Thursday and Friday, then come Monday and Tuesday, I can start to lean in a little bit. It's always important to first build that cushion. So, you know, as we come to the end of the month, I want to kind of remind you that we all have the opportunity to start August in the exact same place. We don't have to carry the bag from July of losing positions that are just terrible setups that the losses are going to get bigger and bigger. We could start fresh in August. And that's what I want to do. I'm going to start, well, of course, I'm not holding anything but like that. But, you know, let's all start with the intention of having a good month in August. So for those of you who have struggled, where July has not been as strong of a month, what you may want to do is you may want to set a plan for what you're going to do differently in August. How are you going to change your metrics? How are you going to improve your accuracy, your profit loss ratio, and everything else so you can get yourself off to a really good start? Now, I'll put a link down below in the comments for my trading plan. It's a PDF that you guys can download. You can print it out, and you could use that as a starting point. And one of the things I always encourage people to do is to practice in a simulator, of course, before you put real money on the line. So manage your risk. Take it slow. Let's have a good finish for July, and let's get ourselves off to a good start for August. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, I hope you hit that thumbs up, and I hope you subscribe to the channel. And I'll remind you, as always, that trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so take it slow, manage your risk, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow.